is going to take you down. Put a sleeper hold on you. Don't let it happen. Be strong. All right? You can defeat it. So make sure that if you get tired, stand up. Just go back to the back and just stand up so you can hear what's going on. All right. Give us 1 second. All right, our next presenter is a good friend of mine. We grew up in the military together. He commissioned from an officer candidate program in 1992. And he served as an armor officer in the 278. He graduated from the Army War College with a master's in strategic studies. He got his, he became a general in, I can't read it because I ain't got my glasses on, just a couple of years ago. Let's see here, right here. 22, January 22, became Brigadier General, and he just got assigned as the 36th Infantry Division Commander in Texas, where he has over 25,000 troops under his command. He is from Tennessee, serving in Texas. His unit will deploy here in a few short months, and he's a graduate of East Tennessee State University, and I've asked him to come here and share some leadership lessons with you that he's learned throughout his career. And without further ado, Major General John Bowlin.
Looks like you got the crowd warmed up, so we'll see what we can do. You guys feeling good?
Yes, sir.
Everybody feeling strong, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sounds good. I think I got you guys for about 35 minutes, okay? And what I'd like to do is have a little fun. What is that? Oh, I've already missed that. Congratulations, you showed up, right? What is this, day 2?
Yes, sir.
Hey, you showed up. I know, I read your schedule. I know you had early formation. You're already learning a little bit about chow. You've worked, you split up into groups, and you're already starting to do your thing. So the biggest thing is you showed up, though, right? Because
yes, sir.
No. And you could have went to the beach, you could have went to Disneyland, whatever. You could have mowed your yard, any of that stuff, but you decided to stay here. So I'm super proud of you for showing up for this program. I've been reading up on Boys State, and I'm pretty impressed. What, 90 years? I'm sure y'all know that started in 1935, so big year here, and a lot of big names to include former presidents, former general officers, things of that nature. My friend Jimmy Reed, they all come through this program. So I'm real proud of you guys, and I know you're going to do some great work. Now, as I mentioned, I've got like 35 minutes, and I've got my wife back there, Shelly. She's my timekeeper. So if I'm looking back there, you know, she's going to keep me on time. But also, guys, it's important that you laugh at all my jokes, okay? And anytime I want a little participation, y'all kind of ramp it up a little bit, because I'm doing a 1,000-mile drive with her immediately following this back to Texas. And I'm going to hear about this speech. So give it up for me right now. Okay? Hey guys, as Jimmy mentioned, Brad Bowlin. I'm the commanding general, 36th Infantry Division. Next slide. The 36th Infantry Division, which is called the Texas Division, and we were founded in 1917 in response to World War I, and we've been around since 1917, right? We've been in every conflict. Most notably in World War II, the 36th Infantry Division was the first U.S. division that set foot in Europe. So that's pretty impressive. Like Jimmy said, we've got about 25,000 folks. And this symbol over here on the side is kind of depicts what our division looks like. And you can see that we've covered all the states in Texas, but we've got folks in Tennessee, Mississippi, Washington State, all those stakes in red is where it touches the 36th Infantry Division. So I'm real proud to command the division. I got about 15,000 Texans that are in the division, and then I got about 10,000 folks that are outside the division. Our motto in the division is in spite of hell. So let's hear it. In spite of hell. Come on now. In spite of hell. All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, next slide. This is kind of what kind of hardware we've got in the division. You know, we're into big guns and bloody holes, which is a bad thing, but sometimes it's necessary. You'll see that we've got aviation in there. I've got about 55 helicopters in the division. I've got about 200 tanks. We've got several thousand infantrymen. We've got all kinds of artillery. We've got recovery vehicles. We've got engineers. We've got all the stuff that supports. It's pretty impressive. Guys, as Jimmy mentioned, I'm from Bristol, Tennessee. Anybody from Bristol in here? Who's from Sullivan County? All right, and I went to school with Johnson City. There's you, mate. I went to school with Johnson City. I'm from Bristol, guys. Bristol, Tennessee. I went to Sullivan Central High School. I now live in, next slide, I live in Dandridge, Tennessee. Who we got from Jefferson County? All right, I should recognize some of those guys. Where's my man Anderson? I hear you, I got you. I got one of my homeboys there from Jefferson County, Tennessee. My wife and I now live in Dandridge, Tennessee, and I live right there. So, that's pretty awesome. Next. And we stay, I live in Tennessee, but I work in Texas. I work in Austin, Texas, in a little place called Dripping Springs, Texas. Is where I actually live when I'm in Texas. Our headquarters is at Camp Mabry, which has been there forever, and that's in Austin, Texas, which is the capital of Texas. All right, guys. So, next. This is what I've been asked today. They asked me to come and talk to you about leading by example, and I'm generally going to stay on that. A little bit. Well, I tend to freestyle just a little bit. What I'd like to do is first, I kind of give you guys some context to tell you about where I'm coming from, who I am. You guys already know I'm from Bristol. Went to East Tennessee State University. I live in Dandridge now, and I work in Austin, Texas. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, okay? And so I'm telling you where I'm coming from, what kind of leader I am, and what shaped my leadership style. Now, the reason why I, and my is highlighted is because I'm going to give you a little tip about leadership. You should never use I, my, right? Because it should always be we, us, the team. So to avoid this, I couldn't avoid it, but I wanted to use it as an example to tell you when we're talking leadership, generally we're not talking about what I can do, we're talking about what we can do. Sounds good. We're going to walk on through that. We're going to talk about some leadership styles real quickly. We're going to talk about leadership attributes. And then finally, we're going to just talk just a little bit about leading by example. Now, I have a little self-awareness. I know that you guys have been at it all morning, and I know that lunch is next, okay? So we'll try to breeze through this really quickly. But what I want to do is save just a little time at the end for a couple of questions, okay? Well, be thinking, because if I don't get a couple of questions, I'm going to call somebody. And then that gets a lot of fun, okay? Standard Army brief, guys. Generally speaking, when we do a brief, we tell you what we're going to tell you, then we tell you about it, and then we tell you what we told you. Okay? Remember that as you go on board. Pretty good program. It's worked for the Army since worked for us since 1636. Okay? Next slide. All right, you guys know these folks?
Yes, sir.
Let's test your dogs. Who's this cat right here?
Snoop Dogg.
Who's this cat right here?
Donald Trump.
This is the hard one.
General Patton. George W. Patton.
These folks is these guys all have very different leadership styles. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
And I don't think anybody can argue with me that Snoop's a leader, right?
Yes, sir.
Unique leadership style. He actually thought, he was hearing voices from the past, he could hear the ground. Nonetheless, Leadership attributes, guys. That's a big list up there, and I'm just going to hit a couple of them. And what we want to try to do as I'm working through these slides is let's think about what kind of leader, someone that would associate with that attribute. Okay? The first one we'll point out is just up there in the corner. You may not be able to see it, but visionary leader, right? Who would you see as a visionary leader? Who's got it? Elon Musk. That's actually, my wife Shelley told me that in the car. I said, who's a good visionary leader? She said, Elon Musk. I mean, who wouldn't agree with that, right? He's got a mind for tech. He sees things that we can't even imagine. So far, it's worked out for him. Would you agree? What about a transactional leader? A transactional leader, you may have someone in the room and they sometimes I think about transactional leaders, it's kind of like politics, right? Your politician, that's kind of a transactional type deal. It's about giving, take, compromise, things of that nature. Another example of that would be kind of paying parents. Parents do the ability to pay out production of the yard, right? Everybody wins, everybody gets something. Transaction. The next is charismatic. What about charismatic, guys? Who knows a good example of charismatic leadership?
Kennedy.
Who?
Kennedy.
You really like your gym? Yeah, that was good. That's the reason me won the election.
Sir.
Guys, the next is strategic. If you look at a strategic, who do you think about as a strategic?
You.
FDR.
George Washington.
Lincoln.
General Eisenhower.
Lincoln.
They can make things happen years from now. They can see how it all lays out. Another one would be directive leader. You guys know who would be a directive leader? You're exactly right. You know, he liked this idea to death, right? And he didn't play.
Taste is right.
He didn't do it. Sometimes
Joseph Stalin, Augustus Caesar, Benito Mussolini.
I'm losing some of you guys because I hear you check it up. I know who you are. All right. You guys good on leadership attributes?
Yes, sir.
What kind of leader are you? Charismatic? Got any strategic leaders in here?
Strategic.
What about transactional leaders? Got any transactional leaders in here? Visionaries. Visionaries. Sounds good. Me, I'll tell you how I describe myself, guys. My leadership style, my leadership attributes, I describe myself as a blue-collar, inspirational leader. Right? And my friend didn't agree back there. Said blue-collar, you haven't done anything in years. But what I use that power relate to that. I was actually raised in poverty and worked my way, started to join the Army as a private, E1, and worked my way up to the division commander. So I like to think that I get in there, get things done, throw some punches, operate the dirt, and it's leadership. Now we're going to look at leadership attributes. Actually, as we look at these leadership attributes, you can see we've got hundreds of them, guys, right? We got delegating, creative, positive, visionary, intuitive. We've got a lot of things with attributes. The list goes on and on and on. So I've pulled out just a few to talk about these attributes once again. Next. Okay, leadership attributes. These are attributes that I think are important for every leader to kind of move that ball forward. Okay? First, you got to treat people with dignity and respect. Would you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
That's not always easy, guys. Because on every team, there's that person out there that causes friction, right? He's hard to work with, stuff like that. You got to treat him with dignity and respect just like those guys that perform real hard.
Cool.
My dad was an old preacher. My dad said, don't let anyone outlove you, right? You gotta love your team. It's not always gonna feel like it, but love your team, love what you're doing.
Cool.
All right, next is you gotta hold yourself and others accountable. You guys know what that means?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? You got a rule, you gotta follow. And also, if you got somebody that's gotta let the team down a little bit, you gotta find a way to encourage them and let them know that let the team down a little bit and hold them accountable for the right. Okay?
Cool.
Next is we gotta know how to communicate, right? We gotta
Yes, sir.
communicate up, down, left, right. We gotta be comfortable. You guys all agree with me that communication is an important leadership attribute.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then last, have fun, guys. These are great, I'll be for have fun. You should enjoy what you're doing. I can tell you, if I did not enjoy the Army, I would not have been around for 38 years. But during my tours in the military, I hung out with some great people, and I had a lot of good times. And when I was in charge, I had fun doing it.
Cool.
And it's worked out for me, so just keep that in mind, okay? Next. Leading by example. I'm finally getting to the subject matter. Leading by example. What does it mean to lead by example? Who's got it? Who wants it? Right here in the middle, blonde hair. Curly hair, that's you.
You yourself have to be willing to do anything that you're us to do.
Okay, stand up and say it for me.
You yourself have to be able to do anything that you tell anyone below you to do.
Okay, that's good, that's good. Where are you from? Chattanooga. Wow, I'll give you one of these cool chips, you got it? Boom, got it. I appreciate that. Okay, leading by example. Next slide. Leading by example. What's important for leading by example? First, we talk about it. We talk about presence, right? And presence means you got presence, and then you got presence, right? One, you got to be there, but when you are there, you have to be that leader, right? The video has to match the audio. Meaning, what you say and what you do has to match. You have to be that guy in the room that everybody looks at, because you're that confident leader that communicates well, and you've got that leadership presence. You guys understand?
Yes, sir.
And that will come with time. Next, I already mentioned confidence. You got to be confident, right? Part of being confident is the next one, confidence. If you know what you're doing, it's easier to be confident. Okay? Confidence and confidence. Next is we, not me. You know what that means?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we, not me, means that everything is not the same, okay? I'll take you back to that second, third slide we used, where we talk about I, me. We always want to replace that with we. Oh,
Cool.
teams, a wise person told me this not too long ago, it's actually my wife. She was quoting something. Teams win, coaches lose. Got it?
Yes, sir.
And above all, character, right? Once again, we go back to what I said. You got to keep your character in check, right? Because as soon as a reputation is hard to build, it's easy to lose, right? It's the same thing when you're leading a team. As soon as you start making some bad decisions, or your character gets out of check, you start doing some things you shouldn't be doing, everybody's watching, and you know, you're calling like so above all, character counts. Next. Guys, that is what I've done for you, okay? I wanted to leave some time for some questions, so we'll find some other stuff about 10 minutes. So let's get some questions.
As a leader, how did you keep motivated to
Use that mic, use that good.
How did you keep motivated to be challenged?
Okay, I think the question, I couldn't really hear you, said, as a leader, how do I keep our team motivated, right?
Yeah. No, it's on.
Okay, I think you're right. As a leader, how do you keep the team motivated? That's a great question. One, you gotta find out what motivates your team, right? And sometimes, that motivation is tangible, right? You can incentivize money, you can incentivize your time off, things of that nature. But the best way that I've found to motivate your team, to get your team moving, is to be a salesperson. What are you selling? You're selling ideas, right? You're selling, hey, we need to get this job done. This is the right way to do it. I'm confident we can get there. You get your team on board with that, and everybody wants to pull in the right direction. Every small victory, your team is stronger and stronger and stronger. And ultimately, that's how you get that. That's a great question.
Oh, hey, 1 second, real quick. All right, so, protocol. We want to make a line. All right, if you want to ask a question, make a line over here, make a line over here. We'll get the mic to you, back and forth. When you speak, tell who you are and where you're from.
That's a lot of questions.
All right, we won't get to all of them, so if you're not in line, just have a seat.
That's a great question. And really, I think your question boils down is to act or not to act, right? Yes, sir. I found it's always best to act, okay? But you also don't want to rush into a decision unless you have to make it. For example, as a leader, I've got a big staff as a general, right? And what my staff does, and I've got a guy on my staff called the chief of staff who protects my decision space, right? And a lot of folks want a decision on something, but he protects me until I have to make that decision because I want to act, but I want to get as much information as possible. But just generally speaking, it's always best, I think, to act and move out, right? Oh, all right, good question, Charles. Over here.
Hi, my name is Jacob Sprick. I'm from Maddox City, and I'm from here in Bowlin. Yes, sir. Maddox City's right there. Thank you, sir. So what has been the greatest lesson of leadership you've had in your time in the military?
Greatest
Lesson of leadership or experience?
I think my greatest lesson of leadership, and I'll just go ahead and tie that into who I'm most, my leadership mentor is Jesus Christ. What better example of servant leadership than Jesus Christ? That wrap up for you?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great.
Hi, I'm Arhan Sheikh from Franklin, Tennessee, and I'm with Alexander.
I think I finally figured out what's going on here. These are the fictitious cities, okay? I know we got Jacksonians and Johnstonians, okay? So now here today, lay it down right.
My question for you is, how do you deal with failures, and what is the best advice you would have for some young individual seeking a career in military or civics?
Right. That's a great question. Well, I'm going to go to the very last slide I had, and I'm going to use this slide to talk about that in just a second, okay? Very last slide. Because you guys are already we're communicating, guys. Very last slide. You guys are alone. Okay. All right, guys, I was hoping you'd do this, okay? Because this is kind of how I view my life, really, or my career, whatever, right? I basically break up my life into 4 buckets, right? And this first bucket here is where I put my wins, right? Those are wins. I got a little small bucket of wins, okay? None of them have really been my fault, okay? Sometimes I got lucky, I won just by chance. Sometimes it was a little bit of hard work, but most times somebody else was responsible, and I just got a little bit of credit, right? Or I was part of the team, and I got to win together, okay? To get to your question, the second level here, that's my losses, okay? That's my failures. I think you see that I have more failures than I have wins. But in most cases, I've learned more from failing than winning, right? Okay? Because what you gotta do is when you fail, you just gotta grab that humility, and you gotta say, okay, what went wrong, and what can I do better next time? And then you also gotta remember that we don't live in a zero defects world. And what I mean by zero defects is when you make a mistake, you're done forever, right? It's particularly in the military. You know, you make a mistake, you're gonna know about it. Somebody's gonna let you know about it, but then they're gonna pull you up and tell you to move out your fire. So I guess just to summarize, I've had a lot of losses, and for those, every one of those losses, I've gained. But I'm gonna walk you through the rest of this, guys. So I've got my wins here, I got my losses here, and this third bucket, that's my family, my friends, my support network, my teammates that have all pushed me along, right? Because the bottom line is what you're doing here over the next week, and what you do in life is really about people, right? And you got to surround yourself with good people. Now, not everybody has got a great family, man. It's just how it is, man. It's just not the way it is. But you got to find a way to connect with somebody, right? And let those folks push you forward. Okay? In my case, I've had a wonderful family. It's pushed me through my military career. I have a wife here today. You know, she's my battle buddy. I had a previous wife who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. She was with me for 26 years, surrounded with love, helping me get where I am today. And I've just got this numerous friends and family that have helped me do it. That's my third bucket. What can be bigger than family?
Jesus.
Big bucket right there, man. That's faith, right? That's faith. Whatever it may be. In my case, it's Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. But you gotta have something bigger than all this. You're gonna be successful. You get my last one, Jesus. What's up?
Hey, so my name is Aiden Johnson, and I'm a part of the fictitious city, a very real here, Cheat City. Thank you very much. So I'm from Jackson, Tennessee.
Jackson, I love it. Hey, Jones, man, I'm
Absolutely.
Tennessee, right?
Really?
Talk to me, good.
Well, listen, I got a question. What do you do in case of serving under poor, bad leadership?
Poor leadership. Who has, everybody's done that, right? Maybe it's poor leadership. I don't know. I guess that's a matter. Anyway, hey, you got to find a way. You got to find a way to work around it, right? You got to keep pushing good ideas to the front, and you got to support your commander. I always say the commander's not always right, he's always the commander, right? And generally speaking, when you have a series of bad decisions, that'll take care of itself, right? But you got to keep on the road, you got to keep on working, and it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility for, as a teammate, to be able to communicate that, right? And you don't communicate that back here in the shadows where you're just gossiping and talking because you just make the problem worse. You got to find a way to communicate to that leader. Because he don't want to be a bad leader, right? People don't want to be a bad leader. You're going to see it this week. You're going to see guys that are struggling, right? They're tired, they're angry. It's not working out, and it's because they're going to rise. But they don't want to be like that. What they need is a little course correction and to be right on track. I'm going to give you a pump chip, and hopefully we'll take it at the bar show.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Nico Egan. Nico, and I can sir. So I
I'm originally from Mount Juliet, but for this week, not only do I stay with Alexander City, but I stay with all the boys here. I'm not gonna just shout out my own city. But my question that I had, my home city, Mount Juliet, but Alexander is. No, I just didn't want to make it too much of a political. I just want to talk. So the question that I had was, back at home, I have a senior army instructor, and he taught me that there are three main attributes that you need to learn. He gave me an acronym called CPI, just character and presence. But the last one, I didn't see intellect on there, and I was just wondering, do you think that intellect is a very, very great attribute to have?
Oh, no doubt. So what you got is we got an acronym for leadership attributes. And we've got character, right? So if we talk about character, it's always first, right?
Sir.
Presence, we talk about presence. We talk about actually being there and then the presence. And then the third attribute is intellect, right? And I think we would all agree that that's important, right? And also with that, it's important as leaders that we continue to cultivate that intellect, right? I know it hurts, guys, but occasionally you gotta read a book, right? You gotta read a book, man. Can't be doing TikTok and only take you so far. So definitely intellect is a wonderful leadership attribute. I didn't put it up there today. So, I am a blue collar, charismatic leader. So I've never had to lean on intellect. I've leaned on this great personality.
Hi, my name is Tage Moore. I'm from McMinnville, Tennessee. Okay, yeah. My question was, what is your biggest win? Like, what are you most proud of, and how did that win influence you moving forward?
My biggest win? I'm going to my wife, guys. Help me out. It's good to, I've been lucky. I've served in some great command. I commanded 278 Armored Cavalry Regiment. I've been an assistant division commander with the 36 ID. Now I'm a division commander. There's only 18 divisions in the Army. I'm a pretty big deal. Yeah. That's funny, guys. I'll see somebody and they'll say something like, "Do you remember when you said this?" And it's just something that I said when I was in the passing, man. It's my biggest win is when I've said something that someone basically remembered their whole life and maybe shapes their leadership style. So I get a few of those, man, because I get one of the cool things I get to do is I get to get out and talk to a lot of people, and I get a lot of those. Remember when, or you said this one time, and that always makes me really proud. Oh, good question, man. That's worth the coaching chick, man. Thanks for letting me plug my line.
Hello, my name is William Gatlin from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and the question I have for you today is, what is leadership in your own definition, and why is leadership significant?
Well, leadership to me is, it's always hard to talk about what leadership means to me. Leadership is like Teddy Roosevelt, man. It's a guy in the arena, right? It's a guy that's not afraid to jump in the arena and take charge and tackle big problems, right? He's not afraid to try to convince his friends to follow along, and when he has a big win, he's not the guy that brags about it. That's leadership to me. I got nothing for you, brother, except one pocket warm piece of gum. Just kidding, I'm not gonna get that thing. All right, guys, I think that's all. you know, and just being here is like a big deal. I didn't have this opportunity when I was a boy growing up, you know, or you guys are not boys, you young men. But anyway, I didn't have this opportunity, man. So take advantage of every minute here this week, right? You're gonna pick up. You know, you're not gonna agree with what everybody says, the speakers that come through, and you're not gonna be interested in everything we've got to say. But if you can just pick up one little pearl of wisdom here and there, man, I think you'll look back on this experience a few years from now, and you'll be like, man, you know, I learned that voice stuff. Hey, God bless every one of you, man. I love you. Good luck. Good luck.
Well, we wish you luck. We appreciate your service, what you do for our country, keeping our nation safe. Really, I mean that from my heart. You know, we did that together for a year or two there.
I know
overseas.
this guy served together. He quit in about 30 years.
Yeah,
So
34.
Yeah, 34. So,
Thank you. But, you know, I told y'all yesterday it's about networking. So he was in East Tennessee, I'm down here in Middle Tennessee, but we've served in the same circles for years. But I can call this guy about anything. He can call me, he knows it. And you know, I told y'all last time when Rich Froning was here, the fittest man on earth. This is the second fittest man on earth. I told Rich, you know, real men carry case knives, so I got a real man right here. I had to give him a case knife too. So,
that's why I keep agreeing to do this stuff for him. Every time I go, he gives me
he's got a good knife collection.
I know, let's get one.